a lot of copies, and then everyone looks at it and said, "Yeah, so it's okay, I guess. It's deep. It's deep.
It's okay, I guess.
Apparently, it's deep. There's something in there. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, couldn't be that the writer is just shit at this job. But no. It's like Hideo Kojima, best writer, best story writer. I mean, he can't be that he's bad at writing. He can't be."
This is the CHRILLCAST Conversations with the CHRILLCAST, episode 3 of the new rebooted series with my guest.
CHRILLCAST, hello, it's me.
Hello.
I'm back again after years.
A very long hiatus.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been. I've definitely missed our banter back and forth. You're a very fun person to talk to. And the content that you do is very good commentary on things that I also care about. So that's also fun. So what we're going to get into today for this conversation is understanding Carl Lucas, the man, the myth, the legend. So what is this channel?
So I started off as like, I wanted to make indie reviews, and they're all available. You can go to the playlist. They're all available there, indie reviews. The thing is, though, that one of the things that doesn't work on YouTube is indie game reviews, because nobody cares about indie games except if they are big. So if you don't cover like the big indie games like Enter the Gungeon, Risk of Rain, the newest Vampire Survivor, what is also new and came out, Cult of the Lamb, or some like stuff that comes out and is like reasonably successful, and I tried to do that, but it clearly doesn't work. So I always was trying to change up the types of video I make. Sometimes I make like a little bit of political commentary, analysis videos, generally analysis videos, and then I made a few analysis on shows. And one of my biggest videos is the Princess Bubblegum video that took me like a month or two to make, or might also be 3. And that started off with me talking to a friend about how Adventure Time is kind of fucked up, because this one character is like this pink fluffy candy character, does a lot of bad shit, and he's like, no, that's not true. And then we started recollecting the events of the show, and then we started realizing, oh wait, she genocides an entire race. And like, wait, and she also has this weird she's also 1,000 years old, and she has this weird relationship with a boy. It's like, oh wait, she is kind of like a weird character. And then I rewatched like 200 episodes and made this and made that video. And then that went nowhere. But I enjoyed like making like videos about kind of shows or kind of movies. And then I made the next video, and that's how we land here, kind of. Yeah, that's it. That's all. It's like a mix of like a little bit of political or general commentary, games, and now mainly series and cartoons.
Yeah, and some of the interviews that Carl Lucas used to do were very awesome. Like, especially with indie developers, just getting into the minds of some of these people and what they were doing. It was like they could literally describe the train wreck as it was happening, but not recognize it was a train wreck.
Yeah,
that was pretty amazing how you could get them to actually kind of describe the train wreck without realizing they're in one. Like you have a very good interviewer intellect into what the person is thinking or doing.
So I always make interviews is never about you. It's about the other person, right? When you ask a question, it's not about the actual answer. Questions are about yourself. So when you interview someone, you have to get out of the mindset of like, I want to know something. You have to go into the mindset of like, what the other person wants to tell me. And then that's how you ask the question. And you have to be nice to the person. They're giving you time. You have to treat them well. And the questions, they have to be hard hitting, but they also have to be like, they have to be formulated softly. Most of the times people get confused. They do soft questions softly, but you have to do hard questions softly, and then they're willing to answer, because nobody wants to be accused of anything, like nobody wants to be like a thief or a scam artist. So they want to defend themselves a little bit. So you have to take away those barriers until they are able to answer the question truthfully, so that they are happy with the answer and you are happy with the answer and everybody's happy at the end because now there's a deep understanding.
Yeah, you definitely don't want, as an interviewer, to turn yourself into an infomercial, especially if somebody's selling a product. But
Yeah.
the questions that you ask, if you go too softball, like, it will definitely be bad for your reputation if you
Yeah.
if you accidentally walk into an infomercial. So,
Yeah.
speaking of that, the first time that I found out about Carl Lucas and his channel, he was very into menus, and I found that very
Yes.
fascinating because very few people will pick apart a game based on a menu. But you were going through indie games and
Yes.
literally looking to see, does this game coherently make sense when you pause? Can you exit the game? Can you save easily? Can you get back to where you were? The menu, it's such a big part of a game that a lot of devs, I feel like, put in the afterthought,
Yeah.
and you can easily tell right there whether or not that dev was thinking coherently through the entire game, because a menu is so like substantial. How did you wind up, like, are you always kind of into the details no matter what?
Yeah, so the two part. Yes, I was always into detail of things. I mean, you can see by my videos, I pay attention to stuff that like nobody cares about. But there was this one YouTuber called cynical. Fuck, I forgot. Total Biscuit. There you go.
Oh yeah, Total Biscuit, yeah.
Total Biscuit. He died of cancer years ago. May God bless his soul. But yeah, he was into this idea of like games are a coherent, like are a complete package, and you have to take if you have to take part all if you have to take apart all those things for them to make sense. And while he wasn't focused too much on the menus, he was more on the technical side. One of the things that I picked up from him is like how important menus are for the initial experience of your game. If your game doesn't easily start, your player is gonna quit in the first 5 minutes. If there's no like start button where you can literally click start and begin, your player is gonna quit. You can literally see that with achievements, for example. Games
Oh
that
yeah.
have like really shitty entries or really shitty menus, like 90% are not even gonna make the first mission because just literally just because your mission. So it's like it's based on like the real life data that you can figure out if a menu is good or not. I'm playing a game right now called Pirate Warriors 4. It's like One Piece game. It's like one of those Dynasty Warrior games.
Okay.
And I was going through it, and I forced my way through it because it's in the beginning. It's not very fun, and they have a very quirky menu thing where everything seems to like load so slowly where I'm like, fuck, I want to play this game, but I have to go through this menu that takes 10 seconds, and this one, and this one, and this one, and then I have to go through this one, and then I have to click on that one, and then I can press start, and then there's a confirmation thing where even though I just press start to begin the mission, I have this confirmation thing that says yes and no. It's always marked on no and not on yes. So, and then it's like, oh god, I get fuzzy talking about it because it's so bad. But yeah, it's menus are very important. People should take more care of their menus. I know it's hard, it's difficult. Indie developers, and I know that I've seen how menus are difficult to make. But still, it's like a big part of the game. You should always pay attention to it. It can make or break an experience for the for the player. It's such an underrated part of games that needs the most amount of care and attention so people don't click away. Basically, it's like a thumbnail. It's literally just a thumbnail. It's like, how can I navigate this person through this process so it's as easy as possible for them to play.
I would actually argue backwards that it's more of like the navigation pane of a website, right?
Yeah. Oh
if
yeah.
if navigation is bad, you're not going to stay on that website.
Yeah, you're gonna click away. You're gonna search for the next website.
All right. So the next thing I want to bring up about you, Carl, is you gave me a piece of advice right in the beginning that I'm curious if you still stick by it. But basically what you told me in the first interview, if you go back and watch the first conversation we had, you basically stated like if somebody isn't willing to get past those first 3 months of YouTube, they're going to quit. Like pretty much
still stand by that.
Fact. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh, we're 3 years in.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, the first 3 months are gonna make that. not the first 3 months of like, oh, I just made one video and I stopped. The first 3 months of like actually making, okay, I'm working on this. I'm bringing out videos like maybe every week or 2 weeks. I'm consistently making videos. If you, after 3 months, if you're still doing it, there's a higher chance of you continuing. If not, you're gonna quit. You're done. If you can't keep up with the 3 months, the 3 months rule is like pretty much like I've seen so many people do 3 months and then like boom, gone because they can't. It's just too much. You get 0 views, nobody's acknowledging. You get zero feedback. You think you suck because you're doing something wrong. YouTube gurus tell you that you suck because you do something wrong. Your friends say you suck because you're doing something wrong, even though it might be perfectly fine. And you have to continue. It's like the only control you have is over your, well, there are various things you have control over, but like the most amount of control is which video you make and how good it is. That's the only 3 things you have control over.
I would totally agree with that. It seems like YouTube has like no preference or choice over what videos get promoted. Like the algorithm kind of runs that. So all you can hope for is that your best content is what YouTube promotes to other people.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you can put something out, like specifically the one we talked about earlier, the PB video, the Adventure Time, Princess Bubblegum, how funny it is that you can put something out. It can sit there for like, I don't know, 2 weeks and do nothing. And then like a month later, you'll check your YouTube and it's like 12,000 views or 100,000 views. Like, what the heck?
But it started.
Where did this come from?
Yeah, but it started to pick up. I'm like, this makes no sense. I was going through the data and trying to figure out, okay, where does this come from? People tried to tell me, okay, it's coming from this video because this is being watched. And I clicked through. It's like, okay, this video came out months ago. Like, has nothing to do with my video, and it's not being watched anymore. So it's definitely not coming from here. Then I watch on the other video. Okay, it's also not coming from here because it's nobody's watching this video, so it can't be coming from here. Then I looked at the date, like further data. It's like, okay, so YouTube just decided to put my video on some people's home screen, and then I guess they liked the thumbnail and clicked on it. That's it. Like there's no coherency. There's no like reason why or how or what, or there's no explanation. It's just a random thing that happened.
And it's funny, like once a video busts through and starts getting to viewers and you see it start creeping up, it's like all of a sudden the algorithm can't do enough to shut it down. Like most of the time those videos will creep up and creep up and creep up until
this
you
is
kind of hit that plateau of how many viewers actually want to watch that.
Yeah, this is like still going. And if I look, I can look at the statistics, the analytics right now. It always has this weird it looks like it's plateauing and then it goes up again. Like it's just continuously growing for whatever reason. Why? Don't ask me. I have no idea.
The Adventure Time community is huge, from what I understand.
Not really. Like, well, yes.
I mean, it's bigger. It's bigger than 159,000 people.
Yeah, but like it's not like really. They're not really like centralized. And most of them have moved on to like something like Steven Universe or what's the newest thing that is. I forgot the newest thing, but like Steven Universe is like the basically superseded it. I don't even know what people are watching now.
Well, I mean, so the thing is like even long after a franchise is dead, like I hate to say it, but Halo right now is in a bad place. Like there are still people searching for content because they still love that content. Like you could put out something
about the Halo lore, for example.
you could certainly try. I mean, that's a very saturated market, but you could certainly try and put Halo information out there. But for example, the Adventure Time. I guess a good question to start this whole conversation out in the right way would be, how do you decide what content you're going to do and what does your process look like?
So most of the times I come up with a idea of what I want to do. Like of course when games is like I need to like the game most of the times. I never made a video on a game I didn't like. That is at least I never made a game on a video on a game that I completely hated. Let's put it like this. because they even the games were like super critical and say this shit, I still liked some aspects of it, and I highlighted in the video as well. Of course, I go through all the other stuff, but I always go through the stuff that I like, explain why it works or why it doesn't, and how it could be better. And in shows, it's the same thing. I want to tell people what I like, what I dislike, what works, what doesn't work, because I see those as four different things. You know, liking and disliking something, and something actually being good or bad, or working or not working, are four different things. And so I try to like build upon that. And sometimes I have like an idea that I think it could be cool. Like the villain PB is a villain thing was a joke initially, but then I started realizing that yeah, actually there's a lot of evidence towards that. Um, the Motherland video, for example, I saw another video about Wheel of Time. A Wheel of Time is confused. And at the same time of what as of watching, I was watching the show. I discovered the show like randomly. It's not that good, by the way, but I like it anyways. And I thought, wait, this is like the same thing. This show is confused. There's a lot of like confused elements to it. Like the world building is constantly breaking apart. Like characters are walking on circles, and like the story is just moving nowhere. And I thought, okay, this is a good title, like Model End Confused Show. Um, and from there, it's like spun out into this bigger thing where I had two parts about it. The Adventure Time, for example, videos, I already had those in the back burner. I wanted to make them anyways, but because the initial video didn't do well, like I just shelved them off. So they were done. They were finished. They were like a half finished at least. Like I knew what the worst and the best episode were. I had a few notes, but I couldn't make those videos because like nobody's watching. So I'd rather move on to something else. When it comes to the history of games, history of videos or history of games videos, I like to take apart. I like to go into a genre I already like. Am fascinated by. The three I made was MOBAs, Battle Royales, and the last one was Undertale. And I was planning on making a FNAF one and a Adventure Time one now. Now I can make actually a Adventure Time one. When it comes to like social commentary, just something that pisses me off sometimes. Like I hear an opinion or an idea floating around that is just not true, or is just like maybe misunderstood, and then I formulate something around it, and then I make the video about it. Uh, that's it. That's how I approach things. I never go too deep into it. Now I'm focused on Adventure Time stuff because most people that are subscribed to me want to see Adventure Time things. So I'm making those videos, but I wanted to make them anyway. So it would now I have the chance to make them.
You're like, yes, the fandom has found me.
Yeah, basically.
And clearly, they're continuing to watch your videos. I mean, 4.4K views on this one, 4.6 on that one. This one's already creeping above 3. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we're not. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so the next video is gonna be about Samurai Jack, and because I recently watched the fifth season again. It's when like you have like a really good meal, and then it's like it look really good, it looks good and smells good, and then you eat it, and then you come to the bottom and it's rotten. That's how season 5 felt for me. And then you go to the rotten part, and then at the bottom is like, there's some redeeming qualities here. And that's how season 5 felt for me. And I always thought Samurai Jack was this episodic thing that has no coherency. And then I watch season 1 again, and I'm like, wait, there is like coherent like a line here. And then I started watching season 2, and like, oh, that's why I think that the Samurai Jack has no coherency, because season 2 is like season 1 is like, oh yeah, there's like at least a thematic coherency, or like you're moving forwards. Season 2 is like, you want to see some bullshit? Here we go.
I heard it wraps up nicely at the end though. So there's a season 6, I believe, right?
Season 5 is the last.
I thought there was a season 6.
No,
why am I losing my mind here?
Season 6 is not real. They had a game. They made a game, a Battle Through Time, where they had a different ending. But as far as I know, I looked at some interviews. As far as I know, the creator said no, the canon ending is truly the ending where how the show ended. That's
Huh.
how it actually ended.
I know that like way later on was when that last season came out. I do know
Yeah,
that.
that was season 5, like 13 years later or something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot longer after. And then they released the entire Blu-ray set, which I almost bought.
Oh, you should have
Okay.
bought that.
Yeah, I thought about it. I just nobody in my household's gonna watch it except me, so it'd be better if I just stream it.
You have to force it to your kids, okay? She's like, you will watch this. They're probably gonna be bored though. Like it's a very.
I mean, my kids sat through Avatar at least. They did do that. The Last Airbender.
I would say, like when it comes to like story that you can follow, Avatar is like way better paced because it's an actual like serialized and not like episodic.
All right. Well, I will stand corrected here. You're right. It was only 5 seasons. I don't know why I thought there was a 6th season.
There was talk of a 6th season.
Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, there was talk of a 6th season. A lot of people also think that Samurai Jack got cancelled at season 4, and that's not true. Samurai Jack was just it had like its final. It was like so back in the days, back then when networks had more power, they commissioned people to make like episodes for like episodic shows. They didn't want to have serialized stuff because they can be shown out of order at any time at the day, and they can rerun stuff how many times they want. So episodic shows was the go-to thing. Now with the rise of streaming, or of course changed, but that was normal. And having 4 seasons, and each season having like roughly 10 to 12 episodes, so basically 52 episodes at the end, that was like the peak of a show. If a show had like 4 seasons and like 52 episodes, that was it. That was the finish of the show. So Samurai Jack ended with the 4th season. And since at the time Cartoon Network was going through like a bunch of like restructuring all the people that were working there and allowed Samurai Jack to exist, because Samurai Jack, even though it's very kid friendly, it has some crazy stuff in there.
It
like,
really does. Oh yeah.
Like robots getting like their heads chopped off and then like oil leaking out. So it's like, okay, I mean it's not blood, but like come on, man, that's like clearly like a little bit graphic.
That's like old school Toonami, like
yeah, like there's some crazy stuff in there. So yeah, sure, kid friendly, but like there's the network that needs to trust you to let you do this kind of stuff. Right. And so Gandhi like was the head creator, and all the people that were working with him and allowed him to do that, they left the company. And so after there was no renewal, like that nobody wanted, he didn't want to renew it because now there was a restructuring, people would change seats, and he would have like, now there would be more restrictions. And so he said, I'm done. He did Dexter's Laboratory. He's then worked on like Hotel Transylvania, which is like big, gigantic. He was not strapped for cash. Let's put it like that. The guy clearly had talent. He visually, he had like 2 successful series, one after the other. And he did not want to make like another season that just was not what he wanted. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it floats around this idea that Samurai Jack got canceled, but like it just didn't. It just didn't get canceled.
It just basically disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, it just ended. Like it just ended like any other episodic, because Samurai Jack was never like a serialized show. It was always episodic, so it can end at any time. Like, in 4 seasons, 52 episodes, that's a lot. It's a lot of episodes.
I mean, I don't think anybody watching that show thought he was ever going to get back to the past, Samurai Jack. But anyways.
Yeah. And even the creator said it was more a metaphorical back to the past.
Right, because it's funny because like I felt like the show is never meant to travel back in time.
Yes.
Despite the fact that was what he was trying to do.
Yes. Yeah. And one thing I noticed throughout the show, there's always a catch when he wants to travel back.
Oh yeah.
Like and he gets pretty close every time, but there's always something, almost like it's never meant to be. It is never meant to be. And that fascinated me about the show, but they just walked it back, I guess, at the end. I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, sure, why not? Not my kind of thing, and I dislike it a lot because time travel sucks. But yeah, that's why I'm making the video. It annoys me, and it annoys me a lot. But also, The fifth season is really good. Like the first 3 or 4 episodes is really really good. You go, like it goes like in the psychology of the guy that is like fighting for this for his land for 70 years, and it's like sees no progress, even though there is progress in the land, but he doesn't see it because he's like trapped in his own mind, fighting, looking for a way back and fighting, going saving people, trying to like make the right thing, trying to find this like evil thing that is like haunted his life forever and has destroyed everything he knows. And then you see the deterioration of his mind, and then at some at some point in time in that series, there's a magical girl transformation. He's like, boop, he's back in 20 years ago. I'm like, oh, so all the themes and the things that we're trying to all the thing we're just gonna oh, all right, okay. And then what wraps up in like we fuck around in a desert, which is we fuck around in the desert where there's like a subplot line about lovers. Then there's like we rush to a place. This love gets like trapped inside of herself, and then it ends with like I love you, and then everything is solved. I'm like, fuck off, man. Come on, really? You do who wrote the first half of the show and who wrote the last half of the show? I want to know that, because these are clearly two different people.
Kind of like the rushed ending of Game of Thrones. That's what it reminds me.
Oh God!
But let's not go down that route. I need to ask you this question. This is one of my more hard-hitting questions.
Please.
Can you explain the description of your channel?
Oh, so this is like a left plot line, okay? A loose thread that I might pick up at some point. I had this idea for the lore of the channel, where this company called LL Inc. Creates this creature called CHRILLCAST, and experimental unit, and they let it loose on the world, on the internet, and he does whatever he wants to do. That's the lore explanation for why my videos are not coherent. And with time, because it's like evolving, with time it gets better. That's the lore reason for why I get better by making videos. Because I have sometimes like I have some rants somewhere, so like, okay, be patient with this unit. It's it's like experimental, so like don't worry if it fucks up. That was the lore explanation for all the stuff. I left that plotline because like I did not know how to continue it. I have some stuff here and there, but it's like basically a loose thread.
Something that you might like if your channel like blew up, you could make like this fun lore thing.
Darkiplier exists.
You say Darkiplier?
Yeah, Darkiplier, like
Markiplier and Markiplier.
Yeah, they have here. They have this thing, the Darkiplier. They have this lore thing. It's like, I thought, made remember when channels had lore? Remember that? So I wanted to like recreate a little bit of that. It's like on a smaller scale, but it's like pretty much a loose. It's pretty much a loose thread. I did not go deeper into it. I had in some of the video descriptions. I had some stuff. I wanted to do some stuff with my second channel, but it's like so much work, and nobody cares. Nobody cares, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna follow this through." It's still there,
but if your channel ever blows up, it might be worth it.
Yeah, if I have time, I'm writing something. Sure, I have this whole idea of like a council of Carls, where
Council of Carls, I love it.
Yeah. Where you have like I have like the red suit, right, and then someone with a white suit, black suit, and so on, and then bringing it together where like I have different videos in different suits about different topics, but then there's like a stinger at the end with the different suits talking about different things, and then you can bring together to the final video where you have like an actual thing that happens, like a storyline that happens. So yeah.
So you have a plan for this if it ever comes to fruition.
Yeah. And then you find out what the LL link is and so on. I have that. I've written it down.
Well, if you ever need some help doing any voice acting, let me know. I've done a lot of different stuff over the years.
Yeah, I know you do music. I heard about that.
I did a lot of music.
And I heard the music from you as well.
One of these days, I'm sure some of my other stuff will come to light, but that's okay. All right. So next question, we're gonna go another hard hitting one right in a row here. You have hidden your subscribers, and some of the
Yes.
they haven't hidden your subscribers. You've hidden your subscriber count. People
Yes.
can still comment on your videos. You haven't like
Yes.
said shun everyone, but we had like a real interesting conversation about it before we started this
Yeah.
interview. So why don't we elaborate? Why'd you hide your subscriber count?
So there are two reasons. One, there's this German YouTuber called LeFloid, and he is big. He like is still successful, and he hit subscriber count. I think after he hit the mill or so. And I first of I looked at it and it looked weird, but then I said, hey, actually, it looks more aesthetically pleasing instead of having like the subscriber count, actually having nothing. And the other reason was that's my conspiracy theory here, but I do think it's true. There's an effect on humans when they go to groceries and they see the last piece of something, like be like the last package of bread. Nobody's going to buy that package of bread just because it's the last one. I don't know why that happens. I cannot explain it. I just know that to be true. And I had the same idea of like, okay, people will not subscribe just because of the low subscriber count. And the other thing is people will discredit you based on your subscriber count. So I said, the only person that should care is me and nobody else. And that's why I hit it. And well, brands don't care anyways. Like brands only care about average view count. So
that is a fact. Yeah, your average view counts. If you're trying to get a sponsorship and they see like 45 views, 39 views, they don't care about that. They care about channels that have like 1,000 views a video, regardless of their subscriber count.
You can have one subscriber. If you have like 1 million views average, they don't care. They will sponsor you. They don't care. They don't give a shit about the subscriber count.
Like, I don't know if you have to be like a major troll to have one subscriber and get millions of views.
No,
but
of course, but like, that was just exaggeration. Nobody's gonna have one subscriber and 1 million views. I mean, it might be possible. It might be possible, but like that would be weird.
I want to find this channel. I want to find this channel where this happens.
Well, I think I showed you that one channel called Out of the Box or some shit like that, where this first video got like 1 million views.
Yeah.
Like his very first videos, like this happens sometimes. Why? Don't ask me. I have no idea.
So this, I just pulled this up real quick. This was the last time that Carl was on. I just wanted to validate when it was. Yeah. It was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, like I said, years ago.
This was back when we did the Tuber Tuesdays still. And secretly, we are probably bringing that segment back at some point because I think it is a good idea. But one of the things you pointed out to Nerd Talk, because he was on the previous conversations with the CHRILLCAST, was the fact that like there was a 1 or 2 pixel line below his avatar in the video we reviewed.
Oh god, it was so noticeable.
He was like, nobody notices these things, but Carl does.
At the moment I spotted it, I'm like, fuck, I can't unsee it. I by the way, I'm known in my friend circle to ruin shit for people because I'd say, hey, did you notice that? And they're like, why did you point it out? I was not noticing it. Now I can't unnotice.
Yep.
My mom is one of the one person that I ruin stuff for. She watched like those like afternoon TV stuff, and like afternoon like reality TV, like scripted reality stuff. And over time, I'm like, hey mom, let me notice that. And I showed like on like a documentary about those shows. And she watched like, oh no, you're just joking. Like, and then she started noticing it. And then she started noticing it more. And then a few like months or even years later, she says, you ruined TV for me because you started pointing out, and then I started noticing it, and I can't enjoy it because I know it's all fake. And like, I can't help you that you're watching shit TV. Watch better stuff.
Fair enough. That's funny. That is awesome, though. Like, the fact that you can dissect things at such a level, like such a minute level, has always intrigued me. Like, how your brain must work with, like, kind of like more OCD tendencies, more like, what's the right word? There are like quirks about you that I really find fascinating. And that's one of them. Like, just how detailed you get with these things.
Well, one trick is writing stuff down. I learned that in school, but in university actually.
Fair enough. My brain, it's funny, like I work with a lot of engineers. My brain works more like a creative than like a logic person,
Mm-hmm.
whereas most engineers work like a logic person. Like their brain
Yeah.
is like straight into logic, and like they can't pivot very easily when it comes to making decisions. But you seem to have both the logic and the ability to pivot, which is kind of a really great combination for what you do.
But and this is one thing that I try to tell people. You can learn both.
You
Like,
can't. Oh yeah, you absolutely can.
like if you're an artistic oriented person, you can learn the logic, and if you're a logic oriented person, you can learn the artistic one. You just need to open your, of course, don't open your mind so your brain falls out, but like open your mind as much as possible to the things you're not comfortable with, and then try that out. That's it. Like, do the thing. Like, I can't really help anyone. Then I try to force people into their uncomfortable zone. That's why conversations with me are very uh, how's it called, exhausting, I would say. I know that I have this effect on people, so I'm like I can be annoying and exhausting at the same time. So I know that, but I don't care.
I wouldn't say that. I think if the conversation is, you know, skin deep, it's not worth having. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. I guess, yeah. Sometimes, but sometimes it's okay, right? Sometimes it's like,
Well, you know,
sometimes you don't want to.
You can start skin deep with
But
conversations
yeah,
and get somewhere with them. But I don't know. Most conversations for me, if it's skin deep, it's not really worth having.
well, what I mean is like sometimes you feel like tired and you just don't want to talk. You know.
Then I go to bed.
Like that's actually a good tactic, to be honest. I'll go to bed, no problem.
I'm tired. I go to bed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next question I have for you, what would you say is your favorite thing about doing YouTube?
uh it's not the editing part. That I can say for sure. Let me go good part. Um, it's not the data analytics bullshit. Um, it is the thumbnail I like a lot. Like making thumbnails, I like a lot. Even though some of my more artistically leaning thumbnails I have to throw in the trash because they will not be clicked. Um, I think the best part is scripting. Like when I in the full research mode, gobbling research mode. Okay, I go deep into the stuff. I look up interviews. I rewatch certain parts to write things down. I make the connections between one or two. I'm reshuffling all parts of my script. Where like my brain is a full gobbling mode. Okay, I'm doing the research and the writing and trying to make the connections and then figuring out if the connection makes sense and then deleting and adding stuff. That's the most enjoyable part when I go full research gobbling mode. That's the part I like about YouTube. Just the right. Well, I don't know who said this, but there are two things. There is writing and typing. Writing is the process of like gathering information and sorting it out, or and typing is just what you type out once you get all the information together. And I like the writing part, like getting all the information together, research, organizing everything, and then once I'm done, I'm like, I want to be done with this. Can I ship it off? Can I ship the editing part and all the other stuff to other people so I can continue working on something else? That's what I always end up with. Even though I do spend a lot of time in editing.
Do you ever find yourself like me spending more time on a thumbnail than actually making the video?
I think I spent on one thumbnail. I don't know which one it was, but I spent on one thumbnail like 3 or 4 hours.
That's
Easily.
exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like I get into this mode where if the thumbnail isn't perfect in the moment, because obviously every thumbnail you make, you look back later on and you're like,
Yeah,
the thumbnails now are better than this one I spent forever on. But if it's not perfect in that moment, like I feel like it's not worth even publishing that video.
Yeah. No. The problem I have is like I go for the artistic thumbnails more. Some of my community posts have like the other versions of my thumbnails, and Then I ask people. I think if you go further down, there's like the pickle one. Um, when I ask people, of course, uh, that do also the YouTube, and then say, this doesn't it's not working for me. This is not telling me anything. Um, and then I need to come up with like a different version. Oh man, yeah, it's a real shot, by the way, in the show. This giant ass.
That was great.
Um, there, okay, this one, okay, this is the yeah, this is one of those alternative alternative like thumbnails that I made.
And it's still
Um,
not showing me the full picture. What the heck?
yeah, it's weird how they show it on desktop.
Yeah, they never. I'm just gonna copy the image address and see if we can pull it
Yeah.
up full screen. Still not doing it. Hold on. I wonder if I can delete this part and make it show up. There we go. There we go. I made it.
Yeah,
show
so
up.
this is one of the alternative ones. I'm like, I think this looks better. Okay, I like this more. Okay, I didn't fix it. The part where it's supposed to be like black a little bit. You know, I didn't fix that because it was only a draft anyways. I think this is better. And then someone looks at it, is like, but it's not telling me anything. Like a YouTuber friend I have, like, it's not telling me. I wouldn't click on it. It's like, okay, I guess. And then I need to make something else.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to do subject adventure, this is Adventure Time, I'm assuming, or is this?
Yeah,
yeah, because this doesn't scream at me Adventure Time, even though I know it's Adventure Time.
yeah. Of course. Like it's like, okay, I need to like sometimes make three or four drafts. One is gonna be more artistic. I want to have that. And then someone looks at it, is like, it's not telling me anything. It's like, oh, okay, fuck. Okay, let's rework it. Let's rework it. And then I try to rework the elements I have in the artistic one into the more clickbaity one.
Sure. Yeah. Grab some elements that are good from each one and mix them together.
Yeah. And then over time, you get like the idea of, okay, what can I use to make it look like I want to look like, without while giving away some of the integrity you have to give, but while also keeping stuff that you want to see in your thumbnails. Because making stuff only because it gets clicks is kind of dumb. Making stuff that only is artistic, you can do, but it's like just not commercially viable.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because if you have to balance between your own artistry, what's the right word?
Desire, basically.
Your desires and what the viewer is going to click on and want to watch. Because you can make a 45-minute video that you care a lot about, but absolutely nobody else on planet Earth even cares to watch.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Kate one. You see the third one from the top?
Yeah.
The Kate one is like, I care a lot about this video. Okay, I spent a lot of time doing the third row. Yeah, I care a lot about this video. I spent a lot of time in that, and I look at the game and the movie at the same time. I like the movie. It's not that great, but like I like the movie, and I made that. Like I poured a lot of time and heart and soul in there, and nobody watches it because nobody cares. So it's like, yeah, I guess it's like wasted. Like probably wasted how many hours? I don't know, roughly like 50, 60 hours. Roughly.
Oh wow.
Sure. And then someone said, if you had like 1 million subs, this thumbnail would be fire. But because nobody knows you, nobody cares.
Well, that's another thing that's a problem. Like attracting the follow. So how would you say it has been for you on this YouTube journey attracting a following to your content?
It is near impossible to predict what people want, what people will see, or if the video is going to do well or not. With time, you get better at making videos, but that does guarantee nothing.
Right.
You can make the most engaging, most visually pleasant thing you ever made in your entire life, and it can flop like a hot potato. It does not matter what you do. I have no idea how people manage to break through the ceiling. Of course, just continue making videos is at some point gonna do it. If you make videos for 10 years, if you make them like better and better and better, at some point something is gonna work. It's inevitable. Now, the opposite is also true. If your videos always suck, then you can do it for 10 years and you're going to be at the same place where you started. I know a few of those channels when I was doing the was it the Dota one, was it the MOBA one, or the Battle Royale one? I think when I was doing my Battle Royale video, no, the MOBA one. When I was doing the MOBA video, I looked at certain channels to get footage. I ended up not taking footage from them. But I looked at channels and I realized, fuck, some of those channels have been uploading for 10 years and they have not, like, the initial mic sounds exactly the same 10 years later.
Oh, wow.
Like, the voice has not improved, the visuals have not improved, there's still static in the background. Like, man, yeah. So the other way around can also be true. You can do videos for 10 years, but if they suck, they're gonna still continue to suck. There's nothing you can do. Like, if you continuously try to improve, well, they're gonna look better, they're gonna sound better. You're probably more likely to get somewhere, but it's not a guarantee. I always like to add that it is not a guarantee. No matter what you do, there's no guarantee. In life, there's no guarantee. If you want guarantee, go study something and get a job. That's that. Even there, it's not high. The likelihood is like is not. It's not confirmed 100%, but it's closer to 100% than making this.
Yeah, it's like that quote from The Office. No, I'm just kidding. But it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you put it out there for 10 years and you just aren't really doing very well, yeah, you're never going to make it. But if you constantly improve and improve and improve and improve, then eventually something you put out there has a better chance of catching hold.
Better chance is the right word for it. Because it's not a chance, it's just like a slightly better chance than zero. It's like It goes from 0 to 0.1 now. You've done something. And then the more 0.1s you have, the more likely you're maybe in the future, probably, if the algorithm decides and the stars align, you might have something that people might watch in the future, maybe.
Now, so we can at least let people know that we've all crossed that. I'm not going to say exactly how many subscribers you have because I don't know.
Oh, I can say it. Like, I don't care. If I look it up, give 1 second.
I was just going to say we've all crossed the 1,000 subscriber threshold
right
to
now
get to monetization.
Right now I'm in 2,900.
2,900?
Yeah.
Nice,
at 2,900, yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, it's getting there. It's getting the 3,000 mark, yeah.
Okay, that leads me to another question then. What number of subscribers would you consider a successful but small channel to have?
I don't care much of the subscribers, because you can have like a 10,000 subscribers, but only 100 people watch.
That's true.
Was it successful? I would say you failed, because it barely 10% of your audience watches you, right? That's like not a great. I would say if you have like a 10K views on each and every, like roughly 10K over the period of like the first week, first 2 weeks maybe on a video, then I think you're a successful channel. Because with 10K, you do like a little bit of money, not too much, not too little, like a little bit,
$40-$50.
Maybe a little bit more, yeah, but like the around that thing, and probably you could if you have like 10K on each video and you release like bi-weekly or weekly, you can get the sponsorship with that.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. If you're getting 10,000 for an influencer is pretty good.
Yeah, if you can 10K views on each video, and you can approach a company to get a sponsorship on your video. That's like, absolutely, I would say, successful. And with 10K subs, you can probably get a few Patreons.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can get a few. I think one of the mistakes people make is doing YouTube specifically to make money initially, because when you don't have an audience, you're not going to make money. Like, no, that's just a fact.
Well, you're not even monetized, so it doesn't matter.
And if people think that you're in it for the money from the get-go and you don't have the passion to go on with no money, then why would, like, I don't know, it's almost like a double-edged sword. You're going at it the wrong way and you're going to get stabbed twice.
Yeah.
But if you go into it thinking like, hey, I really enjoy what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden you can make money, that's a totally different outcome. That's a totally
You have
different
to.
position.
I think it's always both. It's a double-edged sword, like you said. And if you do the one thing or the other thing too much, you can get stabbed both ways. But also, you have to kind of like think with. You have to think with two minds. One mind is like, okay, this is my artistic stuff that I want to do, or this is what I enjoy. But if you want to make this into like a career, you also have to think that a video is also a product, like a
Oh yeah.
game. Like a game is a art piece, but also a product. If a game is purely an art piece, you end up with something like 12 minutes, which gets prizes upon prizes and sells a lot of copies, and then everyone looks at it and said, "Yeah, so it's okay, I guess. It's deep. It's deep.
It's okay, I guess.
Apparently, it's deep. There's something in there. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not. Couldn't be that the writer is just shit at this job. But no. It's like Hideo Kojima, best writer, best story writer. I mean, he can't be that he's bad at writing. He can't be. Certainly not. Anyways,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, always like with both minds. You have to like, one is product, one is art, and you have to like find the middle ground, and hopefully have people around you that keep calling you on bullshit.
Right? Yeah, that's a fair point. Like sometimes if you're doing successful things and nobody is there to help you to rein it in when you've gone a little too far,
Yeah,
you can get yourself in some big trouble, or just kill off your viewership.
or just straight out steal content, for example, when nobody calls you out and stuff.
That's a good point. Like there was that person back in the beginning when we did the subreddit review who is literally stealing content, and we are getting rid of your reviews.
Yeah, and now big streamers do that on a regular and without any repercussion because nobody calls it out. No big people call it out on it.
Not immediately, anyway. Yeah, and there's a big difference between providing commentary and criticism and just straight up watching somebody's content.
Yeah.
I mean, two different things.
Most streamers also say, "I'm gonna watch this." They don't say, "I'm gonna react this," because they know exactly what they're doing. They're watching it. Right. I'm gonna watch it with you guys. So okay, it's basically I'm gonna steal this for my financial gain. They don't say it out loud, but that's what happens at the end, even though they don't intend it.
Oh yeah,
I don't think they're malicious. I don't think they're actually like people that want to steal. They just do it because it's like socially acceptable in their circles, and everyone in that around that circle doesn't call it out.
At the very least, if you're going to do something like that, and even when I'm being critical or commenting on somebody else's content, I will always plug that channel. Like I'm not just going to watch it or review it or criticize it or comment on it without plugging the channel that we're doing. Like
I bet the best would be several times throughout the thing, right? It's like
or at the very least, you've got it in like the pinned comment, or you've got it in the description of the video, or you've got a link in the top of the thing, or there's a link at the end of the video, like something. There has to be something.
You can do the on YouTube. You can do the feature thing where you can feature like at the creator, so you can people can click directly on it.
Yeah,
in the title.
I've been using that lately. Actually, it's pretty cool that they added that.
Yeah, so it's like there's many things you can do to like just not straight up yoink like content from the other channels, you know.
Here's a good question for you then. How do you feel about YouTube kind of locking, like for example, the community tab? That's locked behind. It used to be 1,000, now it's 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
Do you think that these features need to be locked behind these walls of like achievements and milestones, or do you think that YouTube is hurting small creators too much by not giving them these features?
Do you want do you want to explain to you why YouTube does it, or do you want to know what I think about it?
You could go both for all I care, but I'm really just curious about your opinion.
Okay, what I think is that YouTube fucking sucks when it comes to supporting anything else that is not already successful.
That's fair.
They will restrict anything that they do not trust. That means everyone that just started out right now, they have a bigger bar entry level than anyone else. Not only because content got better, like people got better at making videos, but also because YouTube itself is doing its best to keep anyone that is small and does not have like the lung capacity to continue making content for free, basically working as like unpaid interns forever. they will suppress you until you give up. I think that's like a thing to weed out the psychopaths under us. You know, we that are still doing it after 3 years, something is wrong in our head. We are broken people. Something is bad. Something bad is going to happen. Is happening in our minds. So they know, okay, this is the people we need because they are hungry for this shit. They are whores. They're clout whores. They're gonna do that. They're gonna bring us views because if we suppress the people that are not view hungry whores, then we get the really good stuff. Not good stuff. Not good stuff in the sense of like the actual content is good. Good stuff in the sense of like it's gonna get views. That's the thing. I don't know if they do it on purpose or subconsciously. I don't know if it's planned or not, but that's what happens. Now, to the features that have been removed over time or changed over time, YouTube at some point had like this cool feature where you could like make your site really stylized. They removed that.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
There are two reasons. One is like server cost, to keeping all those like high texture images on the site, and like imagine if I have like 1,000, 5,000 million channels like using those things, like a lot of images, especially if they high textures, like can be like 1 gigabyte big. So it's like you can take a lot of space, but I mean, who cares? Fucking Google. The other reason was that most people didn't use it. The thing, though, the data they used was everyone that was assigned, but that had an account on YouTube, but not everyone that has an account on YouTube also makes content. So the data was bogus. So YouTube does a lot of decisions based on bogus data. I can't confirm that, but as far as I've done my research, it seems that way. The reason why, for example, they removed the dislike button is because they want to protect smaller creators, apparently. Apparently. I'm just gonna believe them here. But also, if you think about it, it's a good because if you think about it, no other site has a negative interaction button other than YouTube. Other than YouTube, if you think about Twitter, only like heart. Instagram only like I think also heart. TikTok only heart. Facebook only thumbs up, and so on and so forth. So YouTube was the last site that had a dislike button, and it was only a question of time until removed it. The reason
that's a
is
fact, yeah.
Yeah. The reason is twofolded. They removed the 5-star button from thumbs up, thumbs down because it's a better metric. If you give people the chance to give a 5-star rating, they always
gonna be
gonna
1
go,
or 5.
Yeah, it's either gonna be 1 or 5 or 3. Like it's not gonna be anything in between. So
Right.
That's why they simplified it. It's better to have data like that. It's easier to figure out what to recommend if there's only like and dislike. Now, YouTube actually doesn't care what people like or dislike anymore. They're gonna recommend stuff that is most likely to bring views.
Based on interactions, though, more.
Yeah.
Like from what I understand, like a dislike in the algorithm is almost identical to a like.
Yes, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what it is. You
It just
cannot
means
dislike.
you have content interaction.
Yeah. So the dislike button at some point will vanish entirely, and then just gonna be a like button, or it may be a heart. Maybe they're gonna introduce the heart. Who knows? And now the subscriber thing, hiding the subscriber count is kind of weird because they're gonna take that away from people to prevent scams.
Well, I can kind of understand that because like there's a ton of fake Mr. Beast channels trying to steal your channel.
Yeah, but if you fall for that, even if the sub count is there, you're still gonna fall for that.
That's fair. But you know what's funny? I actually clicked on just to see what was going on.
Yeah.
In a private browser where I wasn't logged in, thankfully. Yeah. But I clicked on one of those channels, and it's weird because you go to it, and it'll say like negative 34 million subscribers. Like,
oh yeah,
really
that
weird.
does exist as well. Yeah.
It's like what the. What's going on here?
There's this weird myth going around that if you click on the names, it will automatically like hack your account. And I'm like, do you know
that's not really possible?
Do you know how insane that would be if that existed as a as a breach on a website? The website would be literally unusable because it's a landmine that is going through. If you can click on a channel and your account gets hacked, that's insane. Like as a web person, right? Like I've worked with web before, front end web. I was like, how can this myth even exist? What the fuck is going on here? And I had to fight someone. Like, are you insane? This would be like one of the biggest the biggest breaches to ever happen. If clicking on the name or clicking on the channel could hack your account, that would be insane.
There is absolutely no way with the features that YouTube gives to you on the front end that you could make that happen.
Yeah.
You would have to have a link to an external website and pretend to have you log into YouTube in order for that to even function close to the way they describe it.
My mind was blown. Like, what? How can you even believe this? This is insane. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, how the wildest shit people come up with.
Do I think that it's possible for somebody with back-end privileges to YouTube to create something like that? It's probably possible to create a link that would allow that. But man, the amount of work you'd have to go through to make that happen.
Yeah.
And then the amount of time that YouTube would even allow that, like
that would be like one of the biggest data breaches to ever exist. It would be like
there's no
and the
way.
guy would, if they find the guy, he's gonna be prosecuted immediately. He's gonna land in court for
imagine how many big YouTubers would accidentally click on this nuclear bomb of a link.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, bye Mr. Beast, bye PewDiePie, bye.
Oh man.
Although those guys probably don't click any links when they're logged in. Like,
I don't click. I don't click any links either.
I mean, I don't even click on other channels sometimes if I'm concerned about the channel.
Yeah, it's like, don't click on links. That's the easiest thing. Don't click on links.
Yeah, only click on things you know you could trust.
Of course,
that's how you navigate the internet in general. Like, I feel like people have gotten stupid on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth would you click something that you don't know where it goes?
People are super careful when they watch porn. So why are you not careful? Why are you not careful when you like click on links? Like, treat your links like you would treat your porn, with care.
So back in the early days of the internet, did you ever hear about this game? It was like, go to Wikipedia and how many clicks does it take to land on a porn website?
Oh,
did you ever hear about that? It's like, I think the shortest number was like 3 clicks, and Wikipedia
it's
found
shorter.
out about that, and they had to actually like remove certain links on the Wikipedia page because of how quickly you could get from Wikipedia to that. And it's like, if Wikipedia is supposed to be like this friendly website where you're finding out the encyclopedia of ideas, there really shouldn't be an easy way to go from there to any of those type of websites.
I mean, it's...
And this was just via clicking. There was absolutely no typing. Just
typing, just clicking. Okay.
Just clicking.
I know the Wikipedia races where people go from one thing to the other, like going from George W. Bush to Finn and Jake from Adventure Time, something like that.
That's an interesting concept. I might have to try that sometime. But
I mean, you can probably go to TV shows at some point, right? George W. Bush, and there's like TV, and you can go to TV station.
How long does it take you to get from George W. Bush to Men in Black?
Yeah, probably not that many clicks, to be honest.
That's probably true. You'd probably go to Secret Service, then Movies Associate. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question for you. Sometimes you dive out of the world of media franchises and into the world of YouTubers.
Yes.
What drives you there? And is that content you enjoy making, or just you feel like you have to make it?
It's kind of a bit of both. When something builds up inside of me, like a genuine anger, where I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, this is like, and I like both of those videos that we look at, like at the end of the line, right? The Grifters one and the most critical one. The Grifters one was insane because I was already trying to make a video like this, but this was building up in me where like, these people do not believe what they say. I watched them and like, all of you do not believe what you're actually talking about, right? Like, all of these ideas that you're spouting out, you do not believe in them. And then I come up with a concept and I start writing, I do some research, and I'm like, okay, and this anger continues building. And until I have the video out, I cannot get it out of my system. Once it's done, I'm done with the topic. I don't need to talk about it anymore. And
there's no part 1, part 2, part 3, cancel.
No.
It's like, all right, I just need to get this vent out.
Yeah, once it's out, once it's like the structured, it's like a nozzle, like from a exhaust pipe. Once like all the air is out, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Good, I'm done with this. I don't need to talk about it anymore. My ideas are out there. If someone wants to listen to me, fine. If not, then not. The most critical one was an interesting one because I had friend group a friend group, like people really like Moist Critical for some reason, and I understand. Like he's like a charismatic guy, and I started diving. Like, am I the only one that finds him incredibly unfunny? Like, as a German person, finding someone unfunny is extremely difficult. Okay, so I was thinking like, why do not find this person unfunny? And then I came up with the actual answer. I'm just extremely biased against Moist Critical because I think he makes shit content. Um, but then I said, wait, but there's actually something else that annoys me more than me not finding him unfunny. It's like the stealing of content, and that's how the video came to be. Like because I started saying, wait, he actually does steal content. He turned into the thing that he hated before. He said, oh no, this guy bad. He's like, yeah, but he turned into the exact thing now. You're doing the exact same thing. Now he's kind of like learned a little bit, so he doesn't re-upload the original video. He uploads a cut version of the stealing he does. Like he steals the content on stream and then he uploads the cut version on YouTube channel, which is like, oh, I guess we gone from stealing on YouTube to stealing on stream. I guess it makes slightly better, I guess.
I mean, it's more of a produced video when it finally makes it to YouTube. So, like, I'll give him that. The snipping of the video and the reaction and the commentary is more of a cohesive and legitimate video than the streaming is.
No, it is that certainly is. The problem is like when you dive into it, it's like, oh, he's just repeating whatever was said in a video with his own voice, with his words again. That's like, that's not. One of the reasons why it takes so long to react to stuff live is that your mind hasn't figured out how to say something, right? So you will it seems like a lot, right? If you like, for example, you have like a 10-minute video and react to it for 30 minutes. If you take those 30 minutes apart and actually condense it down, it might be actually shorter than the actual video. So you didn't add nothing. You edit very little to nothing. And I'm sorry, Charlie's not that smart. He's by his own admission as well. So what he adds is pretty much to nothing. It boils down to pretty much nothing. Like I showed people proof. They can go search for it up themselves if they think that stumbling and saying the same thing over and over again is actual content. Fine, I guess I can do nothing against. I think YouTubers, besides this topic though, I think YouTubers should go for more DMCA claims and for actual lawsuits. This has gone so long that I think they pussy out. Like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to send DMCA claims. Like, send. This is why this tool exists. People abuse the DMCA claims against you. You can now have the chance to use it rightfully. It's on your rights to do that, and people don't do it because they have this notion that if you get reacted to, you're more likely to get views, and it's just provably wrong. It just does not do anything for you. People reacting.
I don't honestly mind when somebody is watching and pausing, commentating.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Because you're not watching the clip in its entirety without providing something additional to it. It's the people that literally just sit on stream and watch something.
Yeah.
And provide nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, and
I think it's hard for people to realize, like, just because you're on the screen, you're not actually transforming the content.
Mm.
I mean, like, for example, if I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and I streamed that and I just sat there like we're doing right now and not talked about it at all.
Yeah.
You know, if it was me and you on stream and like literally the whole thing is just over here, the video, that's not transformative work. That's me and you sitting on screen watching a video.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're saying, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And you better believe Nickelodeon's coming after me if I do.
Oh, yeah. Like that's why I don't understand why YouTubers have gone so long and not actually threatening like legal things. Because the only way to like keep like other people, like especially streamers, because streamers are some of the most cretinous creatures on these platforms. Like professional streamers that like stream 8 hours a day, like insane. they will just steal content, and nobody cares because I work for 8 hours, bro. Like I can't entertain my chat for 8 hours. Then stop, go
Yeah, do
offline,
like 4
touch
hours or
grass.
2 hours or whatever. Yeah.
Like,
And
and
don't
it's not like it's not like this big streamers even need to like stream for that long, because they already made a fuck ton of money. They made retirement money. They can literally leave the internet, and it's not nothing is gonna happen to them.
speaking of these videos that are kind of outside of your normal realm of media and gaming, this YouTube Gurus video is coincidentally one of my favorites that you did. And I know it doesn't have a lot of views yet. Hopefully it
One of
does
the best
eventually. But
videos, I would
I
say,
love
that I
that
made.
video. That was a really well done
I
video.
made some mistakes here and there, but overall the message should be pretty clear.
Like anybody who's, I guess the funny thing is, I remember watching, I think it was like School of Scoundrels or something, but one of the quotes in there has always stuck with me. It was that people who can do it, and people who can't, teach it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's how I look at YouTube Gurus. Right?
That's why YouTube Gurus don't actually do content.
Right, exactly.
Except a few. A few do. I think Film Booth is one of those people that actually like makes content on the side as well. Like he does successfully that. I mentioned Guy Level in that video, but he makes like actual also tutorials on how to like set up things, how to make your camera look nice, like actual things that you can follow and make your content look better. And the other one was Content Bug. I think she's now known by.
I mean, that's
Catherine
not like a rule. There are exceptions. I'm just saying, like in general, like I think it was School of Scoundrels. He said like people who can do and people who can't teach. You
Yeah.
know? It's just interesting. Yeah, I'm not saying that a public school teacher is the same thing as this. Obviously,
no, well, you have to
they want.
To be a public school teacher. You actually have to know how it works.
Exactly. So, like that's what I'm saying. It's different. Like people who are pretending to teach you.
Yeah.
The YouTube Gurus. Yeah. That quote from, I believe it was School of Scoundrels. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But that quote has always stuck with me.
Well, I call it like it's modern snake oil salesman.
Exactly.
Because that's what they are. They're modern snake oil salesmen. They try to sell you snake oil.
So I think this is a good question to move on to then, since YouTube Gurus equal bad and we equal good. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly that.
What
you like waffles? So you're saying you hate pancakes?
My goodness. What advice would you give to somebody who is thinking about starting a YouTube channel?
You will feel miserable for a very long time. You will think about quitting many times. Your motivation is going to be 0 to non-existent. But the only thing you have control over is your content, your thumbnails, your descriptions, your tags, your video length, your quality of your script, your editing, and you should focus on those things. The things you have control over, because you cannot control how many views you get. You cannot control who watches you. You cannot control anything else other than what you make and what you put out there. Take control of what you can, and while you have to think about the other things, don't put too much thought into it. Otherwise, you will spiral down and will lose motivation pretty quickly. That's it.
Do you think that it's good for somebody to try to emulate somebody else?
Yes.
Or do you think that's a path to failure?
Well, it's definitely a path to failure, but it's
do that. But yes, it's a path to failure.
But it's a thing that you have to like. How do you learn how to make content? Like the only way nobody's born the perfect content creator. If you look at all the successful people right now, like they weren't born like that. They don't have like no. Even like if you look at Markiplier, for example, he didn't have natural charisma at the beginning. He didn't know how to like present himself. You will have to fail, unfortunately. There's nobody's born perfect. Nobody's born the perfect editor or like presenter or whatever. Like none of them are born perfect. So you have to fail to be your own be your biggest critic. Know what you did wrong. Know what you did right. You notice like the line, the little line about for the fuck, I forgot his name now.
Nerd Talk.
Nerd talk. The little line that they pointed out, nerd talk. You need to notice that in your own content. Like there's the smallest little thing, and like fix those things every time. And that's it. Be your own self critic. You will fail. I mean, I'm sorry to be realistic, but like most of people that start out will quit or fail, just straight out. Like you couldn't consider me a failure. After 3 years, I've gone nowhere basically. Now I'm getting a little, but like I'm by technicality, I'm a failure. I'm a failed YouTuber.
Actually, what's funny about you saying that is, I remember looking up statistics. The number of channels that actually get monetized on YouTube is very low. Like
It's
when
like
you think about the grand scheme of how many
like
channels there are out
1% or
there.
some shit like that.
Like we're technically 1%.
Yeah, but we're technically the 1%. Yeah, but
like that's kind of funny.
Yeah, like for example, when you get like 100 viewers on Twitch, you're already part of the 10%, the top 10%.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
100 consecutive viewers, like 100 like viewers right now, you're already like top 10%, which is insane.
Yeah, it's funny because there's so many channels that have 1 million subscribers, but when you think about the full number of channels out there,
yeah,
you're doing pretty well. Like,
well,
you're not bad.
Of course, I'm better than I'm doing better than most, but like by all measures, like monetary or view wise, I kind of failed for 3 years. 3 years is a long time trying stuff out, you know.
Is that a failure, or is that just a continuous attempt at trying?
Well, yeah, that's that I like that continuous attempt at trying. Yeah, that I like that one. Yes, that's more like it.
Because you didn't give up, so you're not a failure. You know.
Well, yes, a true failure would be when you finally do your last video. Which, by the way, the which videos would have been my last one, and I would have given up. I would have left forever.
And what was in the decision making when you were considering walking away from YouTube? What was your mindset at the time?
It was generally driving me nuts. Like I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, are my videos that shit? Like, am I doing that bad? Like, are my topics that shit? Is nobody just watching because I'm like just not good at making videos? Is that it? Like, and that question was lingering in my head every time, and I tried to make the videos better and better, and it was taking more and more time to make those videos. And I just said, okay, I guess I tried it. I guess I give up now. I'm done. And then the PP videos started to grow, which was like, that was kind of a weird thing. I'm like, is YouTube listening to what I'm saying or thinking? It's like,
they're in your head.
Like, are they doing something? Because I talked about this with friends, and then suddenly, oh, PP videos does it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so
YouTube hears that you're walking away, and they're like, "We will make you successful. Come back."
That's conspiracy talk, though. It's like nothing of that happened. It's just pure luck. Okay, this is just pure luck. That's yeah. Final thing: when you start YouTube, prepare for luck. Because
prepare for luck.
Because it's gonna take a while. Okay, set up camp. Build some nice build a nice like fireplace at your house and like wait, because that's the only thing you can do. Yeah, of course you can try to promote stuff on Reddit and Twitter and blah blah.
I'll be honest, I have like, maybe you've found some magical theory here, but I just find that anytime I try to share my stuff, like self-promotion is the quickest way to getting people not to want to watch your stuff.
It's weird. You know why? Because self-promotion, when you're small, if someone shares something from Gus Johnson, it's gonna get watched, not voted, and everyone is gonna coom about it. But when you're small and you don't have a following, people are like, who is this nobody? It's kind of weird, exactly. Right? It's like, it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, if you're big, we can allow even like subs where sharing videos is not allowed. The gaming subreddits are known for that. If you're small, you're gonna be beaten to the ground. If you're someone like White Light, yeah, we're gonna promote that video on our subreddit. It's like, kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Yeah, but I guess.
No, it's funny. Like I've learned that you're better off hoping that one of your viewers share it rather than yourself, because if you share it, like everyone's like, oh, self-promotion, get this guy out of here. You know, he's a hack. He's just trying to get views, get money, da 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 da.
Yep.
But if somebody else shares your video, like some of our friends with a lot of subscribers, like immediately more people are going to watch it.
Yep.
As opposed to, self. That's the weirdest thing is like you would think self promotion would work. And sometimes it does. Sometimes you slip through the cracks and self promotion works. But I would say most of the time it doesn't. That's been my experience anyway.
So for the battle royale video and the MOBA video, I had this idea of I put this video in the subreddits where like of these games that are
Like the
like
failed ones that
yeah
they're discussing.
yeah, and that people like that because it's like generally smaller subreddits and like not many people in there, and they were interested in listening about their games and about the genre that they're in.
Oh yeah,
So
people who are starving for content in the genre that you're
yeah,
covering, absolutely, you'll be accepted with open arms because
and
nobody else is doing it.
and people liked it because like, oh yeah, this is like a good like interesting video seeing like the short history of like all those like of this like genre that kind of like blew up suddenly. The MOBA one was also well received because of people like, oh wow, I didn't even know half of these games. um so yeah, like that promotion went well. That's why I made other history of videos. The problem is like those are more residual. Those took time to get there. So even though they were hanging out in those subreddits, it was more like there was no post, and then someone someday checks it out and then goes onto the video because they already start for this. They're already interested in that type
Yeah,
of content.
they already know that there's not much there, and so they don't
Yeah,
check it all the time. And then when they finally do, and they see your video, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to click on this. Like,
exactly,
this looks
exactly.
good."
So in that
And
case, it worked, but like it doesn't work for it. Doesn't this didn't make the video big. It just made the people that would watch it anyways watched it. Or like the people that kind of found it like watched it. But like this doesn't do much for the overall YouTube algorithm because they're not really staying on the channel, right? It's like just watching through the Reddit thing and then not going on YouTube. So
yeah, there's a lot lower chance that they're going to subscribe.
yeah,
Based on the fact that they're clicking an external link from an external
yeah,
website, not even necessarily logged in.
yeah, exactly. It could be like or someone might want to comment, but they like click away and then it doesn't appear anymore, or they don't want to log in or whatever.
Oh yeah, people are so like the viewership that way is very, the word I like to use is ephemeral, because they'll be here today and gone tomorrow. Like
Yeah,
you don't have any idea or control of whether or not somebody continues to watch your videos even if they liked one a lot.
yeah. YouTube might also say, you know what? We're just gonna not send notifications to any of the subscribers.
I've had that happen once or twice.
It's like, can you go fuck yourself? Basically, it's like YouTube is like, we don't care. We just, I put it like this: YouTube is like one of those bosses. You come in on Monday. He's like, oh, you did a really good job. Slaps you on the back. He's like, you know what? Go on to like eat tonight. Like take out for dinner. He's like, it's on me. You go out for dinner. Gives you a nice dinner. You think everything is fine. Next day he comes in and he's like, what the fuck did you do? How could you ever do that? And like you wonder what happens, right? Like, and you're wondering what happens. Like, what did I do? You suck! And he slams the door.
Slams the door, walks out.
Walks out. And the next day he's like just looking at you like with the menacing eyes. And then on Friday comes in and it's like slaps you on the back even harder. It's like, let's go, my boy! Best thing you ever did.
It's like the algorithm has some kind of mental disorder of some sort where you just have no idea.
Yeah,
multiple personality or whatever it is.
Bipolar,
yeah,
something like that. And
it's
then
like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm a strong proponent of like unionizing stuff and trying to figure out what the fuck they are doing.
It would be interesting. I know that not everybody's a fan of Elon Musk, obviously, but the idea of open sourcing Twitter's algorithm was so appealing, in my opinion. I would love to see what the YouTube algorithm actually looks like outside looking in.
Probably nobody knows. The thing is, like, YouTube algorithm is not one thing, right?
No, it's several.
Not. It's like several small like machines that are doing something different. You have like one picture recognizing machine for the thumbnails. You have one voice to text software that changes what you're saying to script and then you have another thing that analyzes what you are saying, and like for example the word fuck always gets always got censored in the auto generated
You
text.
can turn those auto-generated captions off and not suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
I have done that once or twice.
Then you have like one thing that all goes through the description, one thing that goes to the meta tags, one thing that goes through like your whole video and then looks what you're showing. If you're showing like a full exposed asshole, it's probably gonna ding you.
Oh, God.
um and if all those systems like working in tandem, and sometimes they don't agree with each other, sometimes the audio thing says, oh, he said the n-word, and actually what you said was Nigeria.
Yeah, we had some really weird stuff crawling through our captions. I remember we watched them live on stream one time, and we were looking at it as like, nobody said this. Like, where is this word coming from? And it wasn't even like it wasn't the N word or anything like that. It was more like instead of the CHRILLCAST or the CRUELCAST, that's happened before.
The
Or,
cruel guy.
yeah, or the CRUELCAST, or like the CROLLCAST, or
the Chris Cruel.
yeah. There's been many weird interpretations by the YouTube algorithm, but I think it's finally starting to figure out how we spell our name. Who knows?
The Cruel Grass with Chris Cruel and Will Cruel.
Yeah,
The Krill Crew.
Yeah, the Krill Crew. Yeah, there you go.
What's up, Crew Lords?
So my next question for you: where do you see your channel going? What's your plans for the future? We know about Samurai Jack.
I want to be professional by the end of the year. I actually want to earn money like by the end of the year. I'm already am, but like I want to actually make this in Korea by the end of the year.
And how far are you from where you want to be? Like, how much work do you think you're gonna
I just need another PV video. That's it. Like, I literally just need like another PV video, and then my channel is pretty much set. I think, because the residual from both things will propel you one after the other.
And if you have two videos that are 6-figure views, from what I understand, the algorithm is more like to promote those two videos with each other, and so like two videos at that rate are more likely to ascend together above the algorithm.
And especially if they're like in the same genre kind of thing,
cohesive.
I have a friend, for example, he does like more commentary stuff, and he had one very successful video back in the day about mini lad, but that's like doesn't go anywhere, right? There's nothing you can attach to it that other people also want to watch. So it's kind of difficult for him. He has now all the subscribers, but it's kind of difficult to have like a core audience that will watch him, because they came from this, subscribe for this, but like there's only so much you can talk about mini lad until like the information well is over.
And you're like, remember that mini lad video I did?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it doesn't have much residual. The PB video has residual views. This will get views until people decide to not like Adventure Time anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And people will continue to discover Adventure Time as it hits streaming platforms, or the people that still actually watch real television happen to tune into one or two of them.
If I am actually looking at this, Princess Bubblegum Evil. I think I am now the most watched video.
Really?
Yes, I am. Yes. No, not quite. Actually, Easy Peasy. Easy Peasy is the most watched one, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Well, yours is more recent with more views, basically.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
And yours is SEO better.
Yes. I stole some of his tags and stole some of the other people's tags as well.
I mean, there's no shame in stealing tags because it doesn't actually affect the content.
Not really. But it doesn't even tag affect like the actual view count. It just affects searchability.
Exactly. Like if you want good SEO and you see other videos of good SEO and you copy that SEO, it can help you in the search algorithm. But overall, good videos will keep people watching.
I mean, there are channels with no name and videos with no name with like millions and billions of views. So it doesn't really matter. And I also use the new features like the chapter stuff as well. and I actually do the whole description thing. So like I think those things help with the machine. The machine likes it, okay? The machine is happy. The machine gods, like I need to burn some incense like in Warhammer 40k and pray to the machine gods. Like the machine is happy with my video. And if the machine is happy with my video, then maybe they might shine the light upon me.
Make sure you guys go and subscribe to Carl Lucas. I don't know if I've said this already, but make sure you guys go do that. He makes great content. And if I have not already told you to do so, like I said, make sure you guys, if I can point the right direction, subscribe to this lovely man over here, robot, whatever he is. And the LL Inc. or whatever he supposedly is.
Aren't we all robots? Aren't we all robots? Flesh robots, but still robots.
Maybe automata. I or automatons. I might give you that. I think a robot definition is more artificial and non-biological.
Aren't we all bound by our inner desires that are ingrained into us when we're children?
Maybe. So I want to open up the floor. I want to open up the floor here, just for you to either talk about something that we haven't covered yet, or ask questions for myself about our channel or Will, whatever you would prefer to do.
Can we do two things? Can I talk about some YouTubers that I discovered recently that are small?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there some people you want to shout out?
Yes. I just need to find them. We can cut all the stuff. Okay,
yeah, I'll snip whatever we got to do.
The first one. Okay, the first one is called. He's not small. He already established himself. It's called Slipmaker.
Slipmaker.
Slipmaker. Yes.
Okay.
He does like serious retrospective, basically.
36, only 36 videos, but he's got almost 20K subscribers.
Yeah, he does like these very long, serious retrospectives where he goes through them, reviews them, and ranks them, and talks about what he likes and dislikes, what works and not works, similar to what I do, but like just way more in depth. And his thumbnails are kind of like on point. Like he has like a branded thumbnails. It's really nice. So I like his stuff. And his videos get demonetized a lot. So I don't know if he makes a lot of money with it, but yeah, it's kind of insane the output that he's done so far.
That's pretty awesome.
The next person is called Murky KK. Yeah, so she like focuses on like achievements, but also does like game dissections from a more like feminine perspective, I would say. I think while I don't think that gender or like matters when it comes to reviewing games, I think it's sometimes interesting to see from someone that has like different life experiences, or has like a different type of making videos, or is just thinks differently, basically. I like to have a wide range of stuff that I consume to basically broaden my horizon. That sounds very pretentious, by the way. I just noticed that.
I'm not gonna lie, I do subscribe to channels that I genuinely don't like the content of, just to get different perspectives. Sometimes I'm not saying this is what you're doing with this channel. I don't think you'd shout out a channel you don't genuinely like. But I understand what you're saying. Have a diverse set of perspectives.
Yeah, so even stuff if you disagree, you should watch that still.
Exactly.
Just to have the other side and be able to argue against it if you want.
That's not what he's saying about this channel. Make sure you guys check him out.
Yes. The next person is Uber Charge. So Uber Charge, I linked it again. So here's the thing. Tell me how old this person is.
Based on what exactly?
Just listen to a little bit of what about the latest video, for example. Tell me how old this person is.
Can't be that old.
Like, how old do you think they are?
Probably teens.
Yeah, they're like 15,
yeah.
And they make better videos than most people on this fucking website. This person, if they continue to make videos, will absolutely destroy everyone I know when it comes to like making videos.
Yeah.
So watch out for this guy. All right. The next person is Flights of Fantasy Show. I
Oh,
have no idea how I encountered this channel. Don't ask me. I have no idea. But they do basically like book and movie reviews together, but generally movie reviews as well. And they go for and they try to like when this disseminate stuff, and they have like this nice presentation. The Matrix one, go to the Matrix one. Uh,
Matrix.
uh, for back, you have to go back. Uh, the Matrix one, fourth.
Oh, here we go. The
Yeah, there.
trilogy here.
Yeah. So they have a presentation, and if you skip to like in the beginning, they have a certain presentation. If you skip to the middle, for example, they actually do like a different thing. So they put effort into how they present like the like as themselves as a presenter, basically.
I can't have Matrix scenes playing. We'll get demonetized.
So they put effort in like costuming and like setting up the
No, that's
stuff,
pretty cool.
and that's like I think that's what more than most people do, and I already like that because it's like it breaks up the boredom. I would say the visual boredom that most videos have, like most
Well,
essays
they
or videos
actually
have.
are do the zoom ins and zoom outs too,
Yeah,
which is
zoom.
something that can really bring the engagement to
Oh
your
man,
video.
zoom cuts, man. People need to learn how to do them. Honestly,
A lot of
like
people avoid them at this point. Like, I don't think I've ever done like a true zoom cut in any of my videos. I also just don't edit very much.
editing podcasts is fucking hard, man. You need to
That's
go
why I
through
just
so
don't.
many.
That's
You
why I
need to go
just
so
don't.
many years, like so much stuff until you're there.
Look, I have
Um,
this channel that I almost like. Just for example, this exists. We have a CHRILLCLIPS channel that I make clips out of, and it's a pain in the butt. So I just
it
don't. I
is.
only
It
do it
is.
whenever I think about it.
It is. It is a pain in the butt. Okay, so next one I have is called Ponji Ninja. Again, don't ask me how I found this. I have no idea. But she makes gaming content, and I don't know. I think they recently started making content again. Um,
Yeah, it looks like they took like a good solid 10 months
yeah,
or so off.
just interesting videos overall. The editing is pretty nice. I don't know if they do it or if it's like I think it's a joint channel between a brother and a sister,
Okay.
which is also interesting. Uh, this one is Dwight Tries Gaming. To be honest, I don't like the videos that much. But but wait, okay? They starting out, okay? They still finding their voice. And it's like consumable stuff, and they basically cover stuff that I would like to cover, basically indie games, but in a way shorter form that I could never do. I cannot do short form content. It's there's like a, ingrained ingrained how's it called? Uh, I don't know. It's just an ingrained. Uh, I can't watch. I can't do short form content. That's not in my blood. I can't. I
So
can't.
it's funny you say that. Like sometimes I'll sit down and write a script and then I'll record it, which I rarely do. I do it every once in a while. It's very rare
Mm-hmm.
though. And I'll be like, oh man, this is a good 20, 30-minute script. And I'll record it and it's like 9 minutes. I'm like, what the? How is this even
Oh, like
possible?
5,000 pages is like 5,000 words or so. 5,000 words? No. 9,000 words is like roughly 9 minutes.
Yeah, I
And
know.
so
It's like,
9,000 words is a lot.
it is. Trust me, I know.
Like my longest scripts end like with like 50,000 words.
Yeah. It's
Easy.
pretty insane how many words you can actually physically say in the span of a minute.
And I do 2 rounds of cut down, right? I cut down during the script writing itself, and then when I record everything, I notice, wait, I repeated this. Why is this here? And then I cut that down again.
Sometimes, like for the few videos I've actually scripted, sometimes I will mess something up and instead of re-recording it, I'll just delete it. If it's not important enough to redo it, then it's just gone. It's all good.
I believe spelling mistakes about how I speak. Some not always, but sometimes they're on purpose, and it will not be recorded. so there's better engagement on the videos. That's a real thing, by the way.
Hmm.
And I can excuse it for my accent, and it works. By the way, it works. Anyways, this is the next one I want to highlight. Big Entertainment. He plays a toucan, which is cool. And man, oh man, these videos are long, but for some reason, I kind of enjoy them.
Oh, like yeah, I see that one's an hour. Oh yeah, it was like an hour. Yeah, there are some shorter ones in here, but
Yeah, well, yeah. I just think they're cool videos. He has like this edited segments with this toucan character doing stuff, so that's pretty cool.
are you telling me we need to have an edited shrimp segment in between things?
Yeah, like you see that you see that
Yeah, no, I
like they
see
have
it.
like
I see
yeah.
it.
This you might actually like Krill, Chris.
You would not
Um,
believe how many times people actually call me Krill or Krillcast instead of Chris.
you might
I,
actually like this
I
one.
I found out the hard way that people start to know you by your channel name instead of by your actual name.
Well, funny you mentioned that because my real name is Lucas, as probably people know that have watched me. But my Carl is my chosen name. Like I chose that as like Carl Lucas is like the mix of my real name with the name I
Well,
want
it's
to
it's a
have.
good flow. Carl Lucas has a great flow to it.
Yeah, a lot of people call me Carlos as well.
Carl, like
Yeah,
the
Carl
old
or
school
Carlos.
the llamas from the early days
Carl.
of YouTube. Carl,
Carl.
why'd you kill all those people, Carl? God, I love that stupid those stupid videos from early YouTube.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, magically. Anyways, this he does like covers like Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, and like all this kind of stuff, but also like weird comics from different countries, like Brazil.
oh man, this game that they're debuting on this channel, this Mickey game, is
Yeah,
one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Believe it or
yeah.
not.
So and if you can see like lewd, violent, and gory. So Brazil's shocking Street Fighter series.
Hmm.
So I didn't know that, but it's like they continued a Brazil only comic about
Hmm.
Street Fighter because they got the rights basically,
That's
and because
interesting.
he's from Portugal, so he speaks Portuguese. He also covers like Brazilian stuff and like Portuguese only stuff as well. So that's like a little bit of cultural perspective. I found his channel when I was doing research for a video I want to make about Brazilian game devs that never came to be because uh it I didn't know there was already like a documentary that went deep into this stuff from a channel called Cloth Map, if you can look that up, Cloth Map, and they already like did like a 3-4 part documentary, Cloth
Off
Map.
map or map?
Map.
Oh, map. Okay.
And they already did like a 3-part documentary
That
on
it?
yeah, exactly. They already did like a 3 or 4 part documentary on it, and they covered like so much stuff. Cloth Map, generally great channel, but takes too much time and money to make, so that's why they don't exist anymore.
Mm.
Last one, I swear, last one.
Hey, this is your interview, man. You do what you want.
The thing is, like, a lot of people don't go out and search for stuff, right? And so I do that for them, and then I try to force them to watch.
That's what we were trying to do with Super Tuesday. That was the goal.
This
Okay.
is a wonderful channel. Look at these wonderful
Those
thumbnails.
graphics are awesome.
Look at all drawn by this guy, by the way. Look at these wonderful thumbnails. Everything done by this guy. Beautiful.
Yeah, those
Look
are
at
pretty
that.
awesome.
Look at that. Gaze upon the beauty. Okay.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Also, very young guy. Still more talent than most people. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's like I probably have more. I have way more people, but I could show. But like these are like I think those are good. It's a good selection. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. They're pretty awesome channels. We'll try to link as many of them as possible in the description below.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's great.
Next question for you then. Do you have any
Yeah.
questions for us or any additional things to say about your channel?
Yes. Do you
Okay.
remember?
Do I remember?
Do you remember that years ago you did an interview with Chris Reagan,
Yeah.
and I said, please let me in, because Chris Reagan was one of the people, like, I watched a lot of Chris Reagan, together with like Amazing Atheist and Mark Skeptic and all the skeptosphere YouTubers at the time that like went heavily against religion. Um, uh, do you guys keep up? Like,
Do I still talk to Chris?
yeah.
From time to time. If he's on Twitch and I'm in the chat, he'll specifically call out our channel, and we also still have a DM going on Twitter. Yeah,
because you guys share the love for Halo, right?
Yeah, we share the love for Halo, and then like music and content creation too.
Ah, okay.
So like him and I have chatted about music a little bit too.
Because you guys told me that you guys wanted to originally do a Halo channel. Is that idea still on the table?
No. That was never on the table. That was something Will had considered. So, long story short, when we started this channel, it was never meant. This was never meant to be like what it is now. This is just kind of something that naturally progressed from what
it evolved. It evolved randomly into this.
Yeah. So basically, like Will and I, we started this channel, and we started doing things, and we were just doing like a weekly. Let's just talk about whatever we want about gaming, and that was how this channel started. And it was mostly because Will had moved out of the state, and him and I were friends, and we wanted to kind of maintain the friendship.
Yeah.
So we created this podcast as a way to like force us to come up with things to talk about and have at least one conversation a week. That was the whole point of the podcast. There was absolutely no ulterior motive when we started. And then magically, it was actually funny. The first podcast we posted, like just started like, it must have got botted because we had like our view count just going, and it was like just 10,000 views, and then YouTube realized it was like botted, so it removed like 99% of those views. I'm not sure what we had in our SEO that like bots were attracted to the video, but it was really weird.
Probably a random tag that the bots decided to do.
No idea, because I didn't know anything really about. I've been doing YouTube a long time, and I've never understood the algorithm or SEO or any of that stuff.
Nobody
I've
does.
gotten really good at it, comparatively speaking, to when we started. When I used to do music, it was easy. You just share your music on your personal Facebook page, and people listen to it, and if they like it, they share it. That was pretty simple with music. When it comes to a podcast about like a subject that the bulk of people aren't willing to share publicly on their Facebook page, they just want to like, consume the content quietly and not tell anybody they're doing it. That's a little harder to build
because nobody will share it.
Yeah, people just aren't going to share it. Most likely what you're going to have to do is just continue to attract more people listening to it. And as people listen to it, then their friends might listen to it, and the yada, 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 so on and so on. So just at some point we started getting views, and we decided to start having guests on because we were like, hey, maybe we can do this. And then like big YouTubers started coming to our channel, and we're like, maybe this could really be a thing for us. And that was when we started experimenting and bringing on guests and really enjoying that. And then we found out the hard way, though, that live content with your guest is really what attracts new viewers. So that's when we switched to the live format to try and like just see if we could build off what momentum we already had going.
Yeah.
And then life continues to get in and out of the way. At times there'll be like a couple months where we won't have nearly as many views that we're getting. We also won't have the guests. And then life gets back out of the way, and we start bringing the guests back on. We start doing these things where more people are willing to watch the content live as it's happening. It's just really cool to watch how it ebbs and flows. Like having Chris Reagan on and Late Night Gaming before Halo Infinite dropped was like a magical opportunity I never expected to happen. And we discussed Halo. We had 5,000 views. We crossed the line past the 1,000 subscribers. It was a really cool moment for our podcast.
Yeah.
But those really cool moments are kind of blips in the radar. If you're not continuously supplying your subscribers with the content they want, well, you're just, you're stuck where you're stuck at, I guess.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot.
Double-edged sword. If you provide the same thing over and over again, they're going to leave. If you don't provide them the same thing over and over again, they're going to leave as well.
Exactly. We discovered that while there are a load of dedicated people watching the content when we cover the stuff they like, they're not all watching all of the content.
Yeah.
Long story short. So, did I answer the question that you even asked me?
No, no. I'd like when questions go off rail and it's like it ends where it doesn't. I begin the point. Like I said, the point of a question is like as a conversation starter, and then like you go let people do whatever. People like to talk, okay? Then let them talk because it's interesting. It's more interesting like forcing. If we're arguing though, then you're gonna have a hard time with me. I argue with people, okay? And people don't answer my questions when I ask them and try to fucking dodge the question. I will push them until they cry.
Hey, I won't dodge any question if it's relevant. If it's irrelevant, I'm probably gonna not answer the question.
Like when you're actually arguing something, I've noticed that if when you ask a hard-hitting question, they're gonna try to slip, and I'm like, let's come back to the actual question. Can you answer this question? And they slip, and it's like you always like it's like the moving the goalposts. You need to like bring them back. And in an interview, I think it's okay to like shift the goalposts wherever, just throw it around. No goalposts. Okay, just have like a gigantic field and kick the ball around.
I mean, some of the absolute best podcasters on the internet have no goalposts whatsoever.
Yeah.
Natural conversation is almost always better and easier to listen to than forced questions. Like, for example, I hate to call this out, but like, there's a very large podcast on YouTube that gets promoted like crazy, where I feel like if they go off script, the particular podcast host has no idea what to do with himself, and I'm sure you can guess that name starts with the letter H and has some numbers in it.
How do you dare? You dare assume that I have a brain and can figure out that it spells H and something with 2 or something like that?
H2O, the H2O podcast. No.
Yeah. Like, how dare you assume I have a brain and could figure that out? Disgusting.
I can tell you this. Like, I know it's a very popular podcast. I can't listen to it. Not even for like a minute. I just can't at all.
You know what a better podcast is? Trash Taste. Okay? The guys that actually talk about anime but actually never talk about anime. Yeah, that's that one.
Is that a real thing? Oh, Trash Taste. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You probably like the thing is like when they made the podcast, individually they're also successful, but like the people that watch Trash Taste don't watch the majority of watch Trash Taste don't watch the individual hosts because together really? they're like better than like the individuals, but because they have like good chemistry together.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So, do you have any other questions?
Oh boy. I don't know. This is a private question, right? Like about your private life. I don't. It's probably not interesting. But actually, what you do as a day job? Like,
I'm an electrical engineer.
Oh, okay. Like you do engineer stuff all day.
Yeah, I went to a relatively good school, paid my own way through it, and I have a good job. Like that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, I quit my job, so I was genuinely about like to commit something bad. that was how bad it was. I was like, I'm done. I'm gone. I'd like saved. I saved up quite a bit of money. You know, like it can.
That was one of the like I don't know if you watched it. We had a clip with RGT85. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. You know who that is, right?
Yeah. So he told the story on a podcast and said, one day he was doing thing, and then the next day he quit, and then like moved out.
Well, he made sure he had a pretty good nest egg before he did that. So like I would definitely say if you're trying to go full-time YouTube, definitely make sure you have a nest egg or some kind of part-time job that'll keep you afloat. One or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for sure. Like, don't do what I did.
Well, I'm assuming that you had some money saved before.
Oh yeah, and I have other also means of income, so like that was fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're trying to go full time on YouTube, at least make sure you have a backup income.
Yeah, for
something that can sustain you for the time you're trying.
Yeah, for a while at least. Yeah. And then, well, at some point, if it doesn't work, you have to go back to work. That's it.
Don't go homeless. Go back to work.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like back in the day, when like jobs weren't like as prevalent as they are now, it was pretty normal to like work for half a year and then just get the amount of money you needed for your household, and then just the rest of the year just not work. You have the harvesting season where you work your back offs, and then for the rest of the year, you like did whatever you want to do. Like there was like
Well, I mean,
there
some
was like
people would do like agriculture in the summer, maybe carpentry or
yeah,
shoemaking.
yeah,
They would find
yeah,
another
sure, but
gig.
like yeah, but like was not like this idea of like you do one thing forever.
Oh yeah,
You did whatever like was needed for the community, and people support each other more. But like that's other types of community. We're now worldwide. There's no like this union thing anymore. I sound like a conservative now, but like yeah, I'm just saying some things sometimes are, you know, I know this because I grew up in Brazil, so like, I get a big family, and we had like it was always great when we had like 20 people in the same house, like eating and drinking and having fun. I miss that sometimes. Like that doesn't, at least in Germany, that doesn't exist that much. Um,
yeah. I would say that one of the main things that has changed in society as a whole is the sense of familial attachment
yeah,
and the sense of familial survival.
yeah,
Because like a lot of people, like, if you're living in a survivalist state, that is that your family is functioning to sustain itself, you're going to be much closer with that family unit than say if you all have jobs where you're making six figures and living in your own houses.
yeah. Of course, you fucked back then if you had a shitty family. So
Well, yeah, no doubt. I mean, it literally was survival of the fittest. Like that,
yeah,
that was just the way it is. And with these jobs where you can sustain an individual on a single
house,
salary,
yeah,
or even sustain a family on a single salary, and move away from your mom and dad, it's changed a lot of the way families work over
yeah.
time. That is just a fact.
And also how jobs, some job like depending on what you learn, you will need to move, like you,
Yeah,
so you don't even have like a place you can stay anymore.
right. Whereas, in a 2 centuries ago, you would be living in the same community as the rest of your family, or maybe
Yeah,
even in the same household as the rest of your family,
and if
and
you
that was
move,
normal.
yeah, and
And
if you
you,
moved away, that was like crazy. What you're
or
doing, you're
you would
moving
only move
away.
out if you were like exiled, or
Oh
or
yeah,
you or you
yeah,
or work literally ran out in the area. Like there was
yeah,
literally nothing to do, because it is easier to survive when you have all that family help. Like historically speaking, if you want
yeah,
to survive, you're going to lean on your family for the things that they can help you with.
yeah. Because everyone takes a part of the burden, and not one person takes all the burden.
The quote, it takes a village to raise a child. It was literally the village was your family. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you were living in the village that your family. So like when they
yeah.
say village, it was more like it takes a family to raise your kid.
I think about that a lot, right? I think about I don't know if I would want to have children, but like think about this like there's some stuff that we got wrong along the way. We focused like a lot on one kind of thing, and now people are like noticing it, and then you have like nutcases trying to offer a solution, and you have people that are just thinking about it and noticing, there is certainly something wrong, but I can't agree with this nutcase. So like, so it's just like this. We're always in this weird state of we kind of agree what the problem is, kind of sometimes, not always, but the solutions are very weird depending on who you ask.
Oh, no
Um,
doubt. Like that is a fact. Like in the variety of people that exist on this planet, no two people will necessarily agree on the same solution
yeah,
100%. And on the outlier side, you have crazy people who
yeah,
offer solutions that absolutely nobody agrees with.
yeah, and they have the loudest voices most of the times. That's the problem.
Well, when you're crazy, do you really care who's listening?
Not really.
You just want people to listen.
But because you also think you're right? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think you're the right. We could be the crazy ones, right? We could be the crazy ones, and we could be saying stuff that makes no sense, but we wouldn't know.
Because we're in the echo chamber together.
Exactly.
Oh man. Well, on that note, was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Carl?
No, that was it. That was it.
Now that we've gone down the philosophical rabbit hole at the end of this podcast, which I expected to happen because that's just the kind of conversation and friendship we have. So I appreciate that.
That's what if you invite me, you can be prepared to talk about weird shit.
Well, if you are curious, we are planning to delve into technology and a little bit of culture going forward. So
We talk about
nothing,
TikTok. About TikTok
no, well, a little bit. Yeah,
conspiracies.
TikTok is disgusting. I'll just say that. All right. On that note, make sure you guys if I can point the right way, subscribe to this guy down here, but also over there. If I could point the right way, yeah, down and over. Subscribe to Carl Lucas.
Carl always be plugging Lucas. That's my name.
Yeah, especially on Twitter. On here, he's just Carl Lucas. But check him out, and I appreciate you coming on for this interview. It's been very much a lot of fun.
Thank you.
As always, I am Chris.
I was Carl. Take care of yourselves, and
you were Carl.
Have a nice day.
Well, why past tense? You were Carl.
I were. Yeah, exactly.
Who are you now?
I'm not Carl anymore.
Okay.